Welcome to another episode of Talkin Games, starring
Dennis Alonso, and
Matthew Baker.
uh, so yeah, if you're a diehard fan of ours, if you're one of the 2 or 3 people, and that's being optimistic, listening to our podcast at the moment, then you're probably jumping out of your seats and giggling like a ninny, thinking, "Oh my God, another episode in the same weekend?" Well, yes, you are not dreaming. We're trying out 2 episodes a weekend. Um, I will not promise that this will also happen next weekend, but yeah, we're trying to see if we can do it. And on top of that, we also had some topics that we felt needed to be said, um, or talked about, that were not on the last podcast. But if you do enjoy having a weekend, please let us know. Give us some feedback, and ultimately, it'll be our decisions on whether our schedules will allow it. Because we are real people, not just voices coming out of your speakers. So yeah, starting off, Matt, you had something you want to talk about?
Just to let everyone know about what I've experienced so far, uh, in the other podcast we did, or the one that would have been released just prior to this, Dennis did talk briefly about Bravely Default, and I can say that since then I've bought the game, but I don't have it yet. I did download and start the demo though. I will say my first impressions are the graphics in the cutscene are pretty good, the graphics in the game not so much, and at first I was quite disappointed in it. But as you begin to play the game, nostalgia takes over and it just brings you back to the old games you used to play. Not to mention that although the graphics themselves aren't the best, the detail to the background of the game is so thorough that it really makes up for it, honestly. Gameplay wise, the battle schematics and everything are quite fun. I will say there's a sharp learning curve, especially if you've not played this kind of RPG before. One of the first things I did was went and buy a Cura spell from, healing purposes, and ended up using almost all of my money, which is called PG in the game. Uh, so that did put me at a sharp disadvantage right off the bat, but promptly I figured out my problem and got a healing spell I could actually use because I couldn't even use that one at my level. Um, and am now starting into the game and letting nostalgia take over and loving it.
Yeah, I do also agree about like kind of the presentation of the game, but that's really, to me personally, that was only really when I first saw the game. Um, Seeing the trailer, it was on the Nintendo Direct last year, towards the end of the last year, that they announced Bravely Default coming here to America, and I was excited. Don't get me wrong. I love RPGs. I'm a big fan of Square Enix, and Square Enix making a RPG for the 3DS exclusively is just amazing. But I wasn't like all hyped up and stuff. But after getting the game and actually playing it, you kind of like that. What Matt was talking about, that nostalgia thing takes over, and really I kind of like the style that they're going for. It's like almost like the backgrounds are like painted, and your character is like this 3D model running in like this painted world, and it really does look beautiful after a while. And yeah, the nostalgia value, it takes you back to the old school turn-based Final Fantasy games where, and I'm not talking about like the new Final Fantasy 13, like like they went overboard with their whole battle system. This is really old, like the real old school turn-based system with like a new twist to it. It feels fresh and new, and at the same time classic and retro, and it's just a great game all around.
And it adds a huge level of just difficulty and tactics to the game.
That it does. Like it really, I really do recommend, if you have a 3DS and you're uh, a big RPG fan, it's a must buy.
Or at least download the demo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Download the demo. It's actually a side story, like if I'm correct. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with the game. Well, it has something to do with the game, if I'm correct, but it's not a part of the game, so it's not ruining anything in the game.
And if you download the demo, one of the first things the demo will explain to you, it will explain that it's not part of the storyline in the game and how it will affect gameplay. So even if you do own the game or if you're planning to buy it, it's still smart to download the demo. And in the first, I don't remember how quickly, but it'll explain pretty quickly why you might want to play the demo and then play the game. So it's still good to look into.
So yeah, um, let's. We have a lot of topics this week. And so like we should get right into them because if not, we'll probably be talking about this for like 4 hours, and I'm pretty sure people don't want to hear us for more than an hour or so. So first topic we're going to talk about is the Nintendo Direct this week, as well as the AE games, is new game announcement. And I do apologize for anybody who thinks that we're just talking about Nintendo. It's just that that's the biggest, biggest news of the week is the Nintendo Direct, and AE Games is game. And so our other subjects for this week are actually non-Nintendo related. So after this you'll be hearing some stuff about some non-Nintendo stuff.
So stick with us through this just a little bit longer. I promise we will move into other content.
All right. So Nintendo Direct. If you didn't see it or if you didn't know, there was a Nintendo Direct Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Pacific, and there was also one in Japan as well as in Europe. And it was talking about the games coming out up until spring, I believe. And they decided to open up the Nintendo Direct right away with some big news coming from Smash Brothers. Confirmation, well, not confirmation because I didn't think anybody was expecting it, but showed off a new character, Little Mac from Punch Out.
Yeah, and it looks like the character design, the gameplay they showed looks amazing, and I've never played as a I mean, they've never had a Punch-Out character before in the game, but just looking at the way the schematic is laid out and everything, seeing the moves he can do, it looks like it's going to be one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, Little Mac looks beastly. My brother was so stoked for him. He plays as Barlong in Street Fighter. So like he loves like boxing characters. And the moment we saw Little Mac like take the stage, he was just kicking butt like left and right.
To cover some other games, though, again, we're going to try to plow through this as quickly as possible. The Nintendo Direct announced many things. I personally noticed a Pokemon game that's coming out to it. I believe there's already one version of it, like this is maybe number two of the game series or something. But it definitely looks good. Dennis might have some names for you here in a second, but I'm going to plow through this. There's also an item shop type game where you create items for RPG characters coming in. So instead of you going to a shop and buying swords, somebody's coming to your shop and buying swords. And it looks to be a rhythm based game. And I'm definitely stoked for it and planning to get it. They mentioned some new news for X, Monster Hunter 4. They announced that it is coming to America, which already was released through Capcom, but now Nintendo officially released it and released a trailer, and tons of other good news too. I'll let Dennis continue with that because
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that they talked about in the this week's Nintendo Direct, and one of the my favorite things was the X trailer. It was actually a trailer; it was gameplay footage that they showed off, and uh, like one of the cool things about it is that they showed off like how the mechanics work with mechs, and how how you can get into the mechs and like just fly around while attacking like a mob or something, and as well as getting out of the mechs like midway and just attacking them. Still, the game looks amazing. Apparently, it's going to be 4 players. I'm not sure if that's going to be online or anything, but it should be. It's being that it's 4 players. Like I haven't seen any 4-player split screen games yet.
I will say that Xenoblade Chronicles was made by the same group, and they had 3 players, but it wasn't actually player controlled. It was one person was player controlled, and the other 2 were NPCs. But it does look like it's going to be a multiplayer game. Like it looked like other player controlled characters. And also, I will say that I was worried the mechs would be way overpowered. Like, if you hit a battle or something and got in a mech, it would just be complete and total domination. And it does not look like that's going to be the case. It looks like they're going to be pretty equally matched to you on foot.
Yep. The like the whole game just looks amazing. But what worries me about it is that in the Nintendo Direct they didn't reconfirm it's coming out this year. They didn't even say a year, as well as they didn't even. I'm thinking they've changed the name or they've already come up with a different name because they didn't even refer to it as X. Um, During the trailer, I don't know if you've noticed that, but yeah, it would be sad if it doesn't come out this year. I'm hoping it still will.
Oddly enough, everything, like not everything they covered, but most of the stuff they covered, as you said earlier, seemed to be more spring-oriented games, like mostly games that are releasing early this year. So like throwing in Smash Brothers, I believe is going to be later in the year, and then X or whatever they call it now. I hope they don't stick to X because that was kind of an odd name for a game. But regardless, if that doesn't come out this year, I guess I shouldn't say I'd be surprised, but I really hope it comes out this year.
I do too, man. Like especially since next year, uh Monster Hunter 4G is coming out, which they also talked about a little bit during the Nintendo Direct. It was confirmed a couple of weeks ago by Capcom themselves, but yeah, it's coming out in North America. If you're a Monster Hunter fan, Monster Hunter 4G coming out United States. It's gonna be awesome. It's on the 3DS, online features. Don't have to get the console version if you don't want it. You could just walk around, play some 3DS, go to McDonald's, free Wi-Fi there.
I,
But yeah,
there's not even going to be a console version, is there?
nah, not to my knowledge. Normally, like sometimes they do it. With their G versions, they always come out with like a console version as well. But I think they're gonna stick with just the 3DS version this time because now that you can offer online with just the console, like the handheld itself, I guess they don't see any need to offer a console version or home console, should I say? Because, uh, really quickly, I just want to point out, yes, the 3DS is a console. It's a handheld console. For those of you, because I've had this discussion before. Uh, the 3DS is a console. It's a handheld console, and you have home consoles. They've come a long way, but that's all I'm going to talk about that for now. Moving on, there was a new Bayonetta 2 trailer with gameplay for Bayonetta fans, which I'm actually really excited about. I am hoping that Platinum Games or Nintendo convinces like Platinum Games or the other way around. I don't know how it works to bring Bayonetta 1 to the Wii U to give newcomers a taste of what they're looking forward to in Bayonetta 2.
And unless if you have anything else to cover on the Nintendo Direct, we can move on to AE.
We still have Kirby's Triple Deluxe was also announced to come out May 2nd. Um, the Mario Golf game also announced to come out May 2nd. New gameplay footage for Yoshi's Island for the 3DS, which looks phenomenal. I can't wait for it. Uh, the weapon building game, the blacksmithing game Matt was talking about, is actually the third game from Level 5 series of games that they promised. It was like a 3-part series. Co Princess was one of them, I believe. I forgot what the other one was called, but this is the third one. they're releasing that they didn't release here yet. And one of the bigger news of the Nintendo 3D Nintendo Direct was Insuma 11, a soccer game that previously never came out into the United States, finally came out here in the States. It's an eShop only game though, but it's only $20 on the eShop. It's like a lot of people I know have been uh like obsessing over this game. It's a really awesome looking soccer game for the 3DS. I really want to try it. Yeah.
As someone who had never heard of it before or anything, whenever I heard a soccer game, I honestly didn't like my immediate reaction was, "Oh, yay, soccer, whatever." But if you get a chance to look at some trailer, like a trailer of it or some gameplay or something, it looks pretty awesome. Like the RPG element to it, um, the element of the game, like the players outside of the soccer like field or whatever. Just if you get a chance to look at it, it looks pretty awesome. I'm not planning to get it, but it does look like it's worth it.
It's actually based on an anime, and if you go on Nintendo Video, they're actually offering the first 3 episodes on Nintendo Video of the anime. So if you want to give it a look, it's up on your 3DS. Uh, Another thing that was a big announcement was Steel Diver sequel, Steel Diver Sub Wars. Um, I love Steel Diver. It was one of the first games that I got on the 3DS. It was a launch title, and it was so fun. But now they've come up with like what Iwata kind of coined as a competitive. I don't know how to say FPS, where it's kind of like a slow pace FPS. You're kind of like on the first person view of your submarine. You can play online, and if I'm correct, it's up to four versus four, so up to 8 people can play at the same time, as well as local land you can play. The game is actually free on the eShop. Well, there's a free version with 2 submarines, and there's a paid premium version that comes with more submarines and added storyline. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the Nintendo Direct.
Actually, I will add for the Steel Diver game. It also he mentioned that there's a free, not really demo, but the game's free technically online. The storyline they said has quite a bit of it is free. If you want the whole storyline, you have to pay. But surprisingly enough, to me at least, the multiplayer is free. Like if you get on there, you only have the 2 subs, but otherwise, I heard multiplayer was free. Correct me if I heard that incorrectly, Dennis.
Yeah, the premium version, what you're paying for is the added submarines and the rest of the story missions.
The other thing that I don't remember us mentioning, maybe we did, but Mario Kart, they had the update on it just saying that what is it, the 7 Koopas are in it now or something?
Oh yeah, the Koopa group is now in the Mario Kart 8, and it is coming out this May. For those of you who haven't heard already, Mario Kart 8 comes out this May, and it looks phenomenal. I can't wait to get my hands on it myself.
Indeed.
So I guess let's move on to AE Games. They this For those of you, if you're listening to this one, I'm hoping you listened to our last podcast. But on if you didn't, Monday earlier this week, AE Games, a new indie dev. I just want to put that out there, by the way, because I don't want people, like kind of putting them up there with like like a big time development studio that with like 100 people working on their thing. They're an indie group, and uh they made a really bold statement when they with their first press release. And I won't get into it. If you want to hear about it, go onto the website. I posted up their link on our Twitter account, or listen to our last episode of Talking Games if you haven't. But they said they were going to announce their game on Friday, Valentine's Day, which they actually did. And Matt, do you want to tell him what the game was? Because you were the one who actually saw it before me.
Surprisingly, normally Dennis gets a hold of this information, but just before I went to bed, I happened to check and got pretty hyped. I will say first, I'd like to do a little laugh at this or something. There were a lot of people saying that this group was a hoax and that they were just trolling everyone and everything. And last night they called everyone out on that and said, "Were we a hoax? No," and then announced their game. So I can already say I love this group. They've got a good sense of humor, and I like the direction they're going. The game they've announced is, and if you see their teaser for it, they released a little teaser of what they might be doing. You would never guess this, or at least I hope not. The game they are releasing is going to be a football game. However, it's going to be a football game with a unique twist. Now, I will let Dennis cover what the twist is because I will go into this deeply.
Well, the twist, surprisingly, is that rather than NFL players or college players or whatever other players you would expect, uh, the players are historical figures. Now, when I first read this, I couldn't help but have a big smile on my face. I'm not a huge football fan. My girlfriend's a huge football fan. I've been trying to get into it just for her, really. And I've never played any football games, really, as far as I remember. But it was just so funny, and like, this is such a Nintendo concept. That's the only way I can put it. It's a creative, innovative twist on like a football game. Like,
And I will say for my part that with football games, like I've seen them in the past and I played one with my little brother before. And I'm not a big name person. If I know you, I it takes me forever to memorize names and put names to faces. So playing a football game with like the players on it and all, like I could have some really famous people on my team and not even care who they are or care like name wise or anything. Like all I had was a bunch of guys. I just threw meat at the other team basically. I didn't know them by name or anything. It's football, whatever. But I can say if I have a team with like these historical figures on it or something, like if I have the Khan on my team and like George Washington or just some random people like that, I'm going to like the concept of having your characters being historical figures adds so much to the game.
yeah, I can only imagine like Attila the Hut, uh, freaking, as a and like I don't know what, like one of those defense people in the front, and then like having Napoleon as a quarterback.
Attila the Hun, Dennis. Hun. He's a Hun.
Hunt, they kill,
Hut.
they pillage. Like, this isn't history class. This is talking games, not talking history.
No, I just don't want you throwing huts at the other team whenever you play the game.
Yeah, well, you know what? That might confuse them. Attila, Hun. That
Oh
was
man.
probably one of the cheesier jokes I've ever made.
I hope
But
that makes it into the game.
anyway, it does look pretty good. Supposedly, the game is gonna come out this year, and they said they've been working on it since last year. And again, I'm not really a big football game type person, but it does look interesting, and I'm really excited to actually see more about it. And like, it's an interesting concept. Like, it's something you don't hear every day. Like, somebody using historical figures to play a football game. Like, like in my mind, like I'm trying to think through like different people, and like how they would like really play in in like a scenario like that, like really, it sounds really interesting. Yeah, and it's also an eShop thing. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
Not at all. I was just gonna say that I can't wait to see the characters in their development, because normally characters in football games have like some characters will have more speed, some characters will be stronger or something, and I would love to see Abraham Lincoln out there in his top hat, using his top hat somehow, like catching the ball with his top hat or something.
Yeah, or like a freaking, George Washington chopping down the tree to knock over like to just to block the other players or something. I don't know. I doubt it'll be that ridiculous or something, but we don't have that much to go with except for some like concept art or that they came out with, but at this point it's all pretty much speculation, but I'm actually excited to see what they got coming.
Likewise, my lowest goal would be that it's just a straightforward football game with historical characters. If they don't use them in any special way, there's like it still would be a fun game, and I still would end up like I'm probably going to buy it whenever it comes out and play it. I mean, all things considered, I probably will end up buying it and playing it. But if they do find some unique way to incorporate the characters, that would like from there on out, that's just pluses to the game.
Yeah. So that was their game for this week, and the funny thing is like they kind if you read their kind of like press release about the game, you kind of figure why they're making a football game specifically, and the reasoning behind their name AE Games, which I kind of always kind of like figured, but wasn't really sure if that's what they were going for, if that was just a coincidence. But yeah, again, visit us on our Twitter at twitter.com/talking games, and I'll have the link to their website where you'll be able to see their release, and you can read it and you can understand pretty much what the joke is.
All right, but moving on to our next subject, we'd like to do some throwbacks. Well, a throwback, I guess it's not really a throwback. It's still a pretty recent game, but to one of our games we used to love to play all the time. Uh, as long as you are ready to tackle. Nah, sorry. Okay. Anyways, as long as you're ready to tackle this subject, Tosh or Dennis.
Yeah. So our next subject, we decided that we wanted to talk a little bit about games from our past, something non Nintendo related. So you guys who were probably like thinking, Jesus Christ, when are they going to stop talking about Nintendo stuff? Um, Anyway, so the game we want to talk about is StarCraft, and for those of you who don't know, StarCraft is an RTS game that takes place in space and in the future, and it's a really fun game. It was the first RTS game that I ever actually played, and as a gamer.
And all I can say is that first things first, Dennis should introduce the concept of the ghost because he does their little thing perfectly. Just do your slogan, dude. Just do it.
Well, first I think we should explain what ghosts are.
No, no, just do it.
Nah, I think we should explain it because I'm pretty sure people aren't gonna understand
Okay,
the.
fine.
All
To
right.
talk to well, hold up. I'll get the Terran group. You get the
No, I want the Terran. You can do talk
Protoss.
about the Zergs.
No, screw you, Protoss.
Fine. Well, okay. So there's three races. There's the Terrans, the Protoss, and the Zergs. If I'm freaking saying the names wrong, that's how I use. So that's how I pronounce them. I'm not good at English. Just deal with it. So Terrans are the humans, essentially. They are us in the future. And they, you with the Terrans, they specialize like in nuking. Big surprise. Um, and so, they have like a lot of technology, tanks, cars, soldiers, like Marines, they're called. And there's a special type of soldier called a ghost, who are the ones that could launch nuclear attacks on enemies' bases. And Darks was what Darks wanted me to do is that since I first played the game, I always used to like to imitate what the people used to say, specifically the ghost. And one of the phrases that they would constantly say is like, I'm going. So
Of course, give them the story about why Ghost would say I'm gone.
all right, so like if you haven't played an RTS, it's like you're pretty much building like an army from scratch. to fight against your opponents or the computer, which it could be a computer or another person. And if with the ghosts are usually are like characters that, or like a soldier that you would build a small fleet of, because they kind of cloak themselves, and you gotta kind of like sneak them inside your enemy's base to launch a nuclear strike from a certain distance. So as you're kind of like telling them to move to a certain direction, the more you tell them, the more like they kind of respond to you a little bit. They have like a set number of phrases. So like if you keep on clicking as like go over here, hurry up, go over here, go over here, and like you just keep on clicking, like I believe it's right clicking as to where you want them. You right click the area you want them to go. If you keep right clicking, they keep like talking back to you. And so one of the phrases they'll say if you keep right clicking is like, I'm gone.
Yeah, I can't remember any of the other phrases. I was trying to think of any of the other ones.
Yeah, I was trying to think of them too. Like that's just the one that always came to mind. I know some of the Marines, uh, what's it called phrases like, one of them was like, "Give me something to shoot," and there's also these giant ships called battle cruisers, and they're like
Battle
kind of,
cruiser reporting.
yeah, pretty much like they're like Russian, and they're like, all crews reporting, make it happen, take it slow.
It's the big gun.
But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much the Terrans. They're just your run of the mill futuristic humans.
The other classes, of course, being Protoss and Zerg. I guess we'll kind of tag team Zerg, but for Protoss, Protoss is an alien race, of course. They don't look necessarily exactly like humans, but I would say they're pretty close to humans. Same kind of body
Humanoids.
structure. Yeah, humanoids. They're definitely a more advanced race. They have they use pylons, which are just energy fields basically that they construct their buildings in, and they warp their buildings in. Like whenever you construct a building, it's warped in from, somewhere. So definitely an advanced race. Some of their units, to mention a few, would be their zealots, which is just the run-of-the-mill soldier. They use energy swords, but basically swords. They're close combat. All the units have shields, so you have to destroy their shield first and their health. Um, some of their bigger units, they have high priests, dark priests. I can't remember what the being is called. You can combine your priests, like make them turn into an energy being that I cannot remember the name of. Do you remember, Dennis?
I do not. It's been a while since I played Starcraft.
Yeah, I can't. Well, anyways, it's a giant energy being, and it's pretty awesome. But some of your troops you build, I can't remember what they're called. They're basically dark zealots or dark priests is what they're called. Um, and they like are always cloaked. They're like the ghosts. They always are cloaked. And they're again melee fighters. They run up close and attack people with swords. So they're pretty awesome. But one of the biggest things for the Tran is their battleships, battle cruisers. One of the biggest things for the Protoss is they will build airship carriers. Not like a boat, but like an airship that carries airships. And those things, like, they are the rulers of the sky. Like, you get near one, it will chew you up.
Real quick, actually looked up some of the phrases that the ghosts actually say, and like I'm actually remembering them. One of my favorite ones, which I kind of forgot what's it called about, was
Never know what hit him.
Oh, how could I forget that?
or when you actually make them and they come out and they're like,
Ghost reporting. I'm here. Call the shot. I'm gone. Never know what hit him.
Any more?
I'm all over it. You got it. I hear that.
yeah, that's it.
Some of those are pretty generic, but for the most part, like, oh man, I love Ghost. Anyways, Ghost, he did mention that like they point nukes and such, or they call down nukes, but aside from that, they're a sniper type unit, which is why the whole, well, they're cloaked and snipers, so I guess the whole never know what hit them would really fit them.
Anyway, moving on to Zergs. The Zergs, I'll just give the brief description as to what they are. You can uh, tell them what they do. Um, the Zergs are pretty much like they're not an alien race. If I'm correct, I could be wrong about this, but as if I remember, it was the humans that created the Zergs, and they're kind of like these cockroach insect like vile creatures, and they've begun to expand and whatnot, and because of it, like it actually is the reason why the Protoss gets into this whole war thing, is because the Zergs are like taking over all everything. So yeah, from there, Matt, you want to take over like what they're specialized in?
Completely forgot I changed my chat key. If you ever want to have fun with the Zerg, like you don't play StarCraft or anything, and you're just like, I wonder what it's like to fight with the Zerg. Go to google.com and type in Zerg Rush, Zerg space Rush. Click enter and search it, and you'll notice things just start swarming your screen and devouring Google. That is the Zerg. They are bountiful. Like for the other races, Terran, you create a Marine. It's a fairly cheap resource. Like you don't have to pay too much to make a Marine. Their average strength, you get one, and that's it. For the Protoss, it costs a little more. You create a Zealot, they come shielded. They're pretty tough units. For the Zerg, like your units you create, whenever you create one of the lower class units especially, they're really easy to kill. But you get two every time you make them. So like the whole point of like Protoss, you're going to have an army of like 20. Terran, you're going to have an army of like 25, 30. Zerg, you're going to have like 100 of these little Zerglings just running around. And man, like they are in essence like the enemy of everyone because they just devour everything. Everything has to become part of the Zerg.
Yeah. And just if like correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm correct, the term zerging in like MMOs comes from the fact that zergs, that's pretty much the strategy, is that you know they rush their enemies, and they kind of like annihilate everything like from the get go. And yeah, that's like, if you don't know what zerging is in like an MMO, that's when you pretty much go all out on an enemy. Like, you know, you use all your like all your strength and everything, like from the very beginning, and just like annihilate your enemy.
In most RTS games, if you want to build a base with most races, like Age of Empires per se or something, like the point is to try to build up forces, but also try to build up a civilization and like a line of defense or something to defend your hometown. If you play StarCraft, there's a few different ways to play, but if you play Protoss or Terran, you basically try to build defenses and an offensive army to fight. But if you want to play like hardcore, you go Zerg simply because all you do, like it's an all or nothing. You just build a huge mass of attack units really quick and then just go out and devour everything. Like you don't have any defenses mostly. If somebody comes to attack your base, you're screwed. But you take your army, like you can build quick and huge and just go out and devour. And that is the Zerg rush. That is, if you ever hear anything Zerg, its origins are this game.
Pretty much. So um just so we don't stay on the topic of StarCraft forever, um when was the first time you ever played StarCraft?
Oh man, it was years ago. So I grew up with a friend, and I'd go over and spend the night and play games with him like every week or something. Um, and so at some point he had StarCraft at his house, and he wasn't a huge fan of it, but I went over and just played at his place. I was probably shoot, maybe like 8, 9. I don't know if it was out then. I feel like I was 8 or 9 whenever I first played StarCraft. Maybe, yeah, 8 or 9. I think that's right.
Yeah, it sounds about right because I think I was around the same age when I first played it. It was a long time ago. Yeah, what's it called? I'm looking up the actual release date. It came out on March 31st, 1998 here in America. And here's a surprising fact for all of you who really enjoy our talk about Nintendo. This game actually came out on the N64 in June 2000.
Yeah, man. So I was actually going to mention that I played it on the PC, and everyone I know played it on the PC. But as a like, I had a neighbor who moved out here back a while, and whenever he did, he sold me his N64 games, and amongst them was StarCraft for the N64. I was just like, this existed? I didn't know this. Uh, it was pretty awesome on the N64 too.
I actually did not know that, and it's coming from like a Nintendo fan. And I was looking up like on Amazon because I do have an N64, still, and the game costs $200.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, wait, did your neighbor give you the game?
No, he sold me a few games, all as one package.
Wait, so he sold you, but did he sell you StarCraft 64?
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No.
Damn it! Like you could have made some money off of that.
Yeah, I wish I had known.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on, cause Darks needs some, or Matt needs some time to cry to himself a little bit. Uh,
No, seriously, let me throw this in here. I had a Pikachu N64 and sold it packaged with that game for like $120. Like, I didn't think the game was worth anything, so I just packaged it in there like as a giveaway. Okay, okay, go on, go on. We need to get off this subject. I really am gonna cry.
yeah, that silence was actually me, like in shock because not only did you sell the N64 Pikachu edition for $100, you also sold the game as well. My God, man.
I've made poor choices in life.
Yes, and you also did the same thing with Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii.
Okay, but that one I finished. Like, I was done with that game, and like I'm done with it. So like I made $100 off that. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit about Grand Theft Auto 5. Um, well, I guess Grand Theft Auto in general, but mainly about Grand Theft Auto 5. Seeing as I haven't gotten to play the game yet, and I really want to play it really badly. Like, I've been watching so much gameplay footage about it and people making videos of playing online, and it just looks so good. It looks really good, and I get mad uh, that freaking it's not out on the Wii U, and I am not gonna go out and buy another console just to play one or two games.
Yeah, I know. I've made like the reason we're talking about this subject is more or less actually to have some comparative views. Dennis loves the game and would like to get Grand Theft Auto 5. Uh, of course, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. He doesn't either, it sounds like, but I know he would like to get it. I, on the flip side, heard it was coming out, and I honestly don't care for Grand Theft Auto anymore. And I think that's basically what this talk is going to end up being about, is just my dislike or why I no longer care for it as much and why Dennis does still like it.
Yeah, and in the end, I'm gonna be right, and then Matt is gonna end up going to go buy it. Like, like that happens 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but here's the flip side. I actually have a system that can play it, so I can go buy it and I can play it, and
I
you can't, so
I know that's why I'm saying that. In the end, you're probably gonna end up buying it, and I'm still gonna end up with no Grand Theft Auto. So it's a sour victory. But uh, Grand Theft Auto 5. let me. I guess I'll put my input as to what makes this game really really good, or really as far as I know, because I haven't even played the game, so I really couldn't tell you if it's any good. And Matt, you keep hitting the alt key and bringing up your thing.
No, I was doing that on purpose.
Oh, and why don't you have your headset on?
I do.
Um, then like my echo comes in uh through your mic sometimes.
Huh, I don't know, dude. Like, you're in my ears. I've got a headset on. It's playing audio through my ears, and it's really quiet. I don't know how the mic is picking that up.
That's weird. Well, anyway, as you can tell, we're still having like problems here and there. As to our audio, it's gonna be like, but so far, I think recording on TeamSpeak is working fairly well. But yeah, we you see, by the way, Matt, I don't know if you know this, but when you send messages on TeamSpeak, that little noise that pops up on the audio as well.
Yeah, I heard it just now.
Yeah, everything, any noise that comes out of TeamSpeak actually gets recorded with along with, our audio.
Ugh. Well, that's a downside to TeamSpeak then, but otherwise it seems to be working pretty well. But what I was trying to say, why a noise popped up in the first place, before Dennis goes and explains why Grand Theft Auto is such a, or 5 is such a good game, I would like to first briefly say what Grand Theft Auto is to anyone who doesn't know. I would hope everyone would know who's listening to Game Talk. I mean, even if you don't like the game, it's pretty popular and pretty widespread of what it is. But the idea behind it is more or less an open world scenario. It's a first person shooter type game mixed with stealing
Third
vehicles.
person.
Sorry, third person. Mixed with stealing vehicles, mixed with doing quests, so on and so forth. I'll let Dennis elaborate on it a little bit more, but just an idea of what the game is before we go and explain why we like it or don't.
Well, from the beginning, if you don't know, Grand Theft Auto first started off as an overhead view game, where um it was like pretty much like a 2D style game. You kind of like saw the game overhead. Your character can run out, steal cars, etc., etc. It kind of looked really cartoonish. Eventually, it evolved into like its own 3D and like world kind of a game where you can walk around and essentially do whatever you kind of wanted. Every game you kind of got more freedom as to like how your character looks, going into stores and whatnot. The cars you can steal, the vehicles, the places you can go, and swimming in the water. And yeah, and now we've come to Grand Theft Auto 5. By far one of the biggest leaps I've noticed in the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Um, Besides from going from the 2D overhead style to the 3D style, the game pretty much shows how far we've come in the gaming in the gaming world, and to the point where you can pretty much buy a house if you and like online. You could do anything you want like with friends and stuff. Like I like the videos I've seen of people playing online is just fantastic. Like there was one video I saw where everyone decided like to get some motorcycles, and they pretty much started like their own Sons of Anarchy gang, where they even drove into a strip club, like no loading screen. They just drove into a strip club on a motorcycle and just like started like killing people and everything, or just like lighting people on fire by like pouring gasoline on them, or and just like the amount of stuff you can do going into the airport and like stealing. You could steal like a 747. Like how crazy is that? Like you just fly one of those around, as well as a helicopter, a jet, all this other crazy stuff, and you're all playing in this massive city online with all these people that you could just randomly run into and like start shooting them if you want. etc., etc.
Which actually is the reason I don't like the game, surprisingly. I love open world, I love being able to get in vehicles and such, but one of the biggest problems I had with Grand Theft Auto 4 was that whenever I started the game, I started getting weapons, started doing this and that, and eventually I was losing a battle, fighting with somebody, cops or something, and they kill me. I respawn at the hospital, I step outside, and I go grab an ambulance and start running people over and go do it all again. There is no limit to it. Like there's no reason for me not to just go out and destroy everything or kill anyone. You can do anything you want, which to some extent is fun, but after a little while, I mean, there's nothing holding me back from doing everything. No limits, which I guess is a bad thing for me.
Well, you see, like I can understand actually where you're coming from with that, because I do know like after a while it kind of gets tedious, not tedious, but it gets stale. But what in Grand Theft Auto 4, I never got that game on the consoles, so I never played online. I only played like single player. But what I think makes Grand Theft Auto now is the online, the fact that you can go in an open world and just find people, because like the AI is pretty dumb. Like, like the cops will chase you, whatever, you'll get killed. But I think it adds another level when it's somebody else who, like, you're walking down the street and then like they just run you over with a car. So you just spend like 20 minutes searching for this guy, and then you take him out, and then it just keeps going, and it's just fun. It's mass anarchy, like, in the city, and like people are just running around like doing whatever. Or if you prefer, you can make friends and just like start a group, like just like a gang of people, and just start doing whatever you want. And like there's actually missions and stuff you can do with friends, as far as I know. Again, I haven't even played the game yet. I really want to, but from what I've seen, you could do quests and missions, you can go to a drug dealer's like hideout or whatever, and steal their drugs and stuff like that, and kill everyone with like a group of your friends, or what, and just like run off with whatever it is that you want.
I won't lie, that actually sounds quite fun. I'll go buy the game now. Nah, not that extreme. But I will say that definitely does sound great. Multiplayer's always been something I haven't really looked into, honestly. Not that I don't like it, but rather, like, I'm out in the country, my internet's not always the best, so I've kind of stayed away from it. So I guess for me, the reason I wouldn't have liked Grand Theft Auto in the past would have, I guess I really should give it a try. I mean, I'm not gonna buy the game. Not this one anyways. Too much hype in my opinion. But I will have to reevaluate my opinion on the game, I guess.
Well, if I were you, and knowing you, uh wait until a sale comes up and like get the game for like $20. It's been out for a while, so I'm pretty sure you can get it for a good deal on sale now, and try it out, because one of us has to play it, and it can't. It's not me.
Well, I could just ship you my Xbox 360 and the game and just be like, okay, here you go.
Nah, like honestly, uh, I'm just so sick and tired of having a 360 around.
Yeah, no. I took mine and my little brothers stopped working. I was just like, no, that's fine. I've got my Wii U. Go ahead and take my 360 upstairs. You can not have it, but you can definitely use it.
I plan on actually, like, I'm still debating it. I've been thinking about getting a PlayStation 4, just because I eventually, at some point, I'm going to own a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, and it's mainly for uh entertainment, obviously, but mainly for like kind of my own research. I don't like talking about something uh without knowing what I'm talking about. Uh if people argue with me about Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 back in during the last gen, there was no way nobody could tell me that I didn't know what I was saying. I owned a PlayStation 3, I've owned Xbox 360s, and I've obviously owned Wii's. And so I knew everything that I was saying, every argument that I gotten into, everything I said was because I knew what I experienced, and I've had multiple of each console, so I know that for a fact. Like what I say, if something occurred to me, or there was a certain problem that kept occurring, like I knew that what I said was the truth. So and it also kind of it's kind of bad for me on a certain level that I do that because of the fact that I always wanted to do like a gaming debate thing with people, but because of that, people actually like were afraid to they were kind of afraid to debate with me, and kind of scared them off because of it.
And aside from that, I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind owning a system, one of the next gen systems. I have a Wii U, of course, but an Xbox One or a PS4. You can never just people giving it flack. There's a lot of people saying how horrible the Xbox One, like before it released, saying how horrible the idea was, why it was gonna fail, so on and so forth. And one of the biggest reasons I should step back and say, well, you should try it first, is not because I've owned one, but because I've owned a Wii U and all the flack they're getting. I mean, you can never judge a system until you've tried it.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger arguments that I have with people is well, when it comes to the Wii U, it's like I asked them, I was like, "Have you owned the Wii U? Have you played?" No, like I've tried it at Best Buy. I'm like, that's not owning a Wii U. Like, just because you tried it at Best Buy or at GameStop doesn't mean that you've played the system. If you've owned the console and you've played the console and you've realized that, hey, this is just total garbage, this isn't working for me, you know, uh then I would be like, okay, well, then you've obviously made up your mind. But I'm a like here's something to live by, if you're a gamer and you want to argue with people, is I'm a Nintendo fan. I'm a hardcore Nintendo fan. You can ask Matt. You can ask anybody who knows me. I am a hardcore Nintendo fan. But I never like I give credit where credit is due. Like if I enjoy a console, if I played a console before, like and I have like certain joys from like PlayStation 3. I hate Sony with a passion because they I just do. They do a lot of stuff that rubs me the wrong way, but I still tell people I have one of the greater times I've ever had in playing games, and at least in a party element, is while playing Little Big Planet. And like I will admit that like Little Big Planet is one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games, and like I'm not afraid to say that. I'm a gamer. I'm a uh, I'm a Nintendo fan, but I'm a gamer first. If I like a game, I will play it. And
That's pretty much anyone. I mean, not just games. That should go for everything. We're not going to get into cars here, but a perfect real life example would be the Ford versus Chevy thing. Like people always saying which car is better and such. Just never
Chevy,
judge first. I also would say Chevy, but
yeah,
com-
Ford
con-
sucks.
convenient. But definitely you should definitely give the car a try first. Well, okay,
No,
maybe not Ford, but Toyota or something, and
okay,
Chevy.
yeah, Toyota and Chevy. I'll be like, okay, no, but Ford sucks. Mustang sucks. Okay, no, it does suck. It's just a big pile of garbage. Corvette Stingray all day, every day.
Yeah.
I guess we should call this podcast "Talking Cars" now. Y-
I mean, we could talk cars, but probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I
We
find it funny though that I'm like, hey, we should call this "Talking Cars" because we just mentioned cars for like 30 seconds. Oh my god!
Right. It's not talking cars. We're talking cars.
Yeah,
Change
talking
your
cars.
Don't forget to change your blinker fluid every 2,000 miles.
Yes, and remember that you don't actually have to change your oil every 4,000 miles. I believe you can now change it every 6,000 to even 10,000 miles.
Drive your car until it's working, and then you've got a problem. If the engine light comes on or something, don't worry about it. That's nothing. It happens.
Yeah, and if there's no air in one of your tires, don't worry, that metal part in the middle will take care of it for at least another 50 to 60 miles. And then you can, put some air in it.
And ignore everything that we just said about cars, except for the Chevy and Ford part.
Yeah, Ford sucks. So we can rule out Ford ever sponsoring us now.
Yep. Or if they do offer, we should be like, no, no, we refuse.
Yeah, like Ford calls us like, hey, we would like you to promote our cars on your podcast when like we're like, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
$5 million, not worth it. Sorry.
it's like a free car as well. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. If they give me a Ford GT, I'll do it.
Likewise.
The
And then I'll
Ford
sell it and
GT
buy
is
another
that.
car.
I actually like the Ford GT though, but it's still horrible. It's still a horrible car. It's amazing looking, but still a horrible car.
Take the body off it on a Chevy.
Well, honestly, you know what? Just to tie this in to games, Project Cars by Slightly Mad Studios um is confirmed that their game is coming out this year, and that game is for all the consoles, including Wii U. Hooray! And it was a Kickstarter, I believe, and yeah, it's coming out this year and it looks amazing. Can't wait for it, and we'll probably talk more about that as more information comes in because there's still like it's kind of like hazy as the information about the game, but it is supposed to finally come out this year.
And it looks amazing. Its visuals look so phenomenal.
And it's also supported by the Oculus Rift, which I believe is a great topic for our next podcast, but not for this one because we are pretty far in time. So I think we should wrap it up.
All right.
So yeah, if you like this podcast, please let us know. Give us some feedback. Send us an email at talkin_games@yahoo.com. And if you can't spell, that's TALKIN_J oh my god, GAMES@yahoo.com. And look who's talking, I can't even spell either.
Yep.
So if you're mad that I said that you can't spell, that's fine. Send us some hate mail at our email, and if you love us, also send us some email because we would like to hear some feedback about that. Also, remember to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/talking games, and I think that's pretty much it. Darks, do you have anything you want to add?
Nothing. If you want to send us spam, we'll also take spam. We have a spam folder for the spam, and we like to toss spam in the frying pan. So feel free to send us that too, but please don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's it. Have a great weekend, everyone. And, yeah, see you next time.
Peace.